It's Thursday. The college football season is officially over. And recruiting is pretty much wound down. There's still maybe one or two guys Rich Rod's still trying to get. Eric, what are your thoughts on the putting to rest the 2025 season?
I think it's time. We've learned the lessons. We've studied the cases, and I think it's time to start looking forward.
I agree. Before we look forward, I was going to talk about this in the middle of the show, but we'll talk about it now since it's just the way I opened the show here. Cristobal opened his mouth, asserted foot. What he said was basically, my team was better. You bought your team through the NIL, Signetti. But wah, wah, wah. Well, it's true. You can pay, your purse strings kind of affect what kind of team you have. That's true. He called out the problems with the NIL. I agree with that. I totally disagree with the fact that Miami was on paper a better team, but they didn't execute. And you might pay for the players, but you got to win the games. And don't cry me a river. Miami's poor. $70,000 to go to that damn school. $70,000 a semester or a year. Sorry. And it was full. That stadium in Miami was full of fans that paid $10,000 a ticket. So, no, I don't agree, Scrooge McDuck. They were good because they were well coached. They were efficient. Miami might have been better, but they had a blocked punt, cost them 7 points because, stuff like that happens. A couple bad third down penalties changed the momentum of the game too for Miami, just undisciplined. There probably should have been some targeting calls that weren't called.
Mm-hmm.
Indiana just had more guts. They might have, I don't know, paper to paper, dollar to dollar, who spent what. But Miami has the dollars. They have the donors. They have a very wealthy fan base. I said this a year ago and the year before this on this show. When Miami's good, the fans come out of the woodwork. And the fans that are in the woodwork are rich fans. Just saying. So, Eric, you had mentioned Saban. I read a little bit of what Saban said, but what are your thoughts on this? Yes,
man, I was hoping he was going to give me a chance to jump in here. To quote the villain from Joe Dirt, I don't know if Cristobal wants a Whataburger and some French fries with that, but this is the biggest case of a crybaby on display that I've seen in a while. You're on the national stage. This is not the time to cry about somebody whooping you because they had an unfair advantage. First of all, it's not an unfair advantage. Like you mentioned, Miami has a very wealthy alumni base.
Mm-hmm.
They've got to have more players in the NFL than 90% of the other programs in the country. If they have a problem with getting NIL support, it's not Indiana's fault. Don't hate the player, hate the game. The other thing I would say is there a little bit of truth in this? Of course there is. NIL has changed the prospects for schools like Indiana, because let's face it, Indiana prior to NIL, if they had a good season and made it to a bowl, that was a big year for them. To make it to a national championship.
Yeah.
Hit me, brother. What were you going to say?
No, I'm just agreeing with you. You're absolutely right. They're burning shit down if they go to the East, West, South car wash bowl.
Yeah, there's a reason why they are known as, the name Hoosiers is associated with basketball, not football. Now, that being said, they turned it around. They found a way to leverage the rules and the resources. They turned it around. They got a great head coach, one of our own, old Frank Signetti. And, I'm sorry, Kurt. Frank's the old man.
Yeah.
But the thing you said that it really struck me, discipline. And that's
Yeah.
something that Miami's always struggled with. And it's because they have incredible players with incredible talent. And one of the kind of counterintuitive things of having that is if you have a ton of talent, you're used to probably getting away with making mistakes and maybe not being disciplined. You've probably had that advantage your whole life because you could make up for that with that incredible talent. Came back to bite them. And that's what happens. Eventually, you get caught. And they got caught by Indiana. He can stop his crying. They played a better team. In my opinion, they're a better team. And why? Because the score at the end of the game said so.
Yep.
We're done with that. Now, Nick Saban, I
And
think he largely said the same thing that look,
yep.
every time, this game is always evolving. There's always different influences, variables, you name it. But this is just the latest, and if you don't like it, you're not going to survive it. Nick said that it was nothing different than he faced, almost 30 years ago. Uh, it is a fact of the game, and if you're, and to be fair, a little bit of that crying was probably to send a message to alumni. We need more NIL. Yeah,
That's
always
it.
give me a little
That's
bit
it,
more.
brother. Open
Yeah,
the purse strings. And guess who did that too? Kurt Signetti said, Mark Cuban, how about you give me $10 million?
I bet he
You know
got
what I
it.
mean? Because he said that would be 10,000 to me. Uh,
Yeah,
that's spot on. I agree 100% because here's the thing. He's trying to play the fiddle and get some sympathy so the donors will pony up and pay. Uh, it's rough. I feel for them, and I've been a fan. I love to hate Miami. I love watching them, but yes, Lost Lord Pitt still sucks. But Lost Lord wants to know. This is the Collins show, so we're going to cover the schedule. But if you ask a question, Eric and me are going to do our best to answer it. So we did a show last week about Nico. So a couple hours before the show tonight, I thought I'm going to look up, see if I've heard anything on Nico. And I haven't. Guys, the fact that he's still in the portal, I think Rich Rod needs to go back and say, hey, listen, come back. You know, there you can always utilize an athlete who has the mental maturity that he does. And you know, I mean, the kid is just, I just like him. He's just a good kid. The way he reacted to being benched and he's like on the sideline, his body language was positive. I just like him. He's the opposite of Cam Vaughn, who belongs at Miami. Uh, Eric, what are your thoughts? Do you think Nico comes back? I don't have any news for you, Lost Lore.
I love this question. I need more like him. Uh, I'm going to focus on Nico and then I'm going to jump away for a second. I heard that Nico was getting a lot of interest from Arizona. Would have made sense. That's his
Right.
old stomping grounds. Um, quite honestly, I wouldn't have believed the same about Colorado, but possibly. That being said, the fact that he hasn't found a home makes no sense at all to me. He's a proven winner. He's won in the Big 12. Um, even if he's not as fleet of foot as our other two contenders for starter quarterback next year, I think he's a great catch. You can probably get him at a very reasonable price right now. And the thing I'm going to jump away from is Shane. I'm not going to get deep into it, but I think we're going to see something. We're going to have to see something develop here. And I'm just going to throw something out because I don't know enough. I haven't researched it, and maybe it's going to be something for a future topic. One of the unintended consequences of the transfer portal is that a lot of players go into the portal and they never come out.
No.
Now, if you have room on your roster, what is to prevent you from taking part in an open kind of like a free agency type season where you can jump in, grab a player for a bargain price, and add them to your roster, and if nothing else, you're going to help the other players because you're going to bring somebody in who's hungry, who's going to bring in another layer of competition. And quite honestly, I think Nico could challenge for starting quarterback. He's that good on the field. makes outstanding decisions. Very careful with the football. Yeah, we should be calling him.
Yeah, if I were a young quarterback in that quarterback room and Nico came back, I would be looking over my shoulder because he's a competitor and he showed that when he was in high school. Guys, if you haven't seen it, I think it was 2019, 2020, 2020. He played a high school game where he was down 18 points with like 3 minutes left and he came back. I mean, he literally had to carry him to the sideline a couple times. He was so just exhausted and bleeding and just it was like a damn Rocky movie. So yeah, like they're going against Clubber Lang. Scrooge McDuck says, I think it's NIL is ruining college football. Like I remember a time when you want to transfer, set out a year, you got to play. It's now pay you this much and you can play for whoever. Okay. Yeah. Scrooge also says, if he does come back, that'd be great. Out of all Neil Brown's players, I think Nico Marchio is the only one you want to keep. Yeah, I think Dior. I don't know. Hubbard, what do you think of him?
I think Hubbard would have been a good one to keep as well. There's probably a few more, but out of all the ones, Nico's a pretty strong one to be a candidate for the best one.
You want to
wait a
cover
second.
this?
Scotty Fox. Wasn't Scotty Fox and Neil Brown?
I don't know. I think he was.
We'll have to look that up. I think he was.
Yeah,
We'll have
Scotty
to look
was a
that up.
Neil Brown guy. I'm pretty sure. Kenny Evans asking, do you see the PR and the kicker? Yeah, well, the kicker, they have two guys. They got the long dude, the tall, lanky guy to boot shit into the other end of the atmosphere. He's 6'6". And then they got the kid from Alabama to be a little bit more precise, maybe do some extra points, etc. The punter is an Aussie. They do a good job. Not American punters just do the 2 steps and boot it, but these Aussies can kind of like take it on the run a little bit and boot while they're running, which is kind of the standard now. It's kind of transitioned to that, kind of like moving a little bit to the right or left and booting it. Thinking back for kickers, like other than a couple barefoot guys, that's been the only really change other than kind of just straight up Charlie Brown kicking it. But
hey, let me throw something out there.
Yeah.
Speaking of Australian style kickers and the rugby punt, and I should say Australian type style punters. Think back to the Sugar Bowl against Georgia. What cemented that win for us?
And it wasn't Pat McAfee. It was Phil. What was his name?
Phil Brady.
Phil Brady. Yeah, that's one that always gets me. I think, oh, that's Patty Mac. No, it was Phil Brady. I remember listening to that. I had to watch that DVD of that after I listened to it on the internet because I was in Iraq when that happened, and I about crapped myself when they went for it and they got it. Yeah, I was yelling and they thought someone got hurt. There was like a medevac or something coming in the way I was carrying on. They were like, some people ran into the talk, like, what's going on? I'm like, no, they just went for it on 4th down and got it. Like, oh shit. Freaking West Virginia. So now returning punts. Let me think of who we could have do that. Oh, there's probably 6 guys that could return punts. I don't have any idea who's going to be returning punts.
Gosh, we have so many speed burners. It's hard to say.
And you recruited we have like 4 D-backs coming in. I know 3 or 4 of them, all 4 of them can return. We got we got quite a stable of athletic guys that can return punts and kicks. It's just a matter of I don't know. The thing of it is, people are putting out depth charts now. Like I saw that, I love Skyler. He does a great job. I love these websites that we read through the week, but they're just throwing spaghetti at the wall. Like, we have no idea, at least until they have the couple practices, who's going to be doing anything. Right now, guys and girls in the chat, I'm trying to make sure I understand if these guys are actually going to play the position they're pulled in for. Okay? Because it's not always apples to apples, oranges to oranges.
And Shane,
West
I mean,
Virginia, yeah, go
sorry,
ahead.
buddy, go ahead.
Go ahead. I'm going to say West Virginia's known for bringing in guys in and being creative. So go ahead, Eric. What are your thoughts there?
That's a great segue. That's what I was getting ready to say. Kudos to the people who are putting it out there and taking a risk, because quite honestly, everybody's asking that. We want to know. We want to know what next year's going to look like. And when you see a name kind of pinned to a position, you get a feel for what you might see, especially in terms of when you see guys who are they have reported great strength, or maybe they're speed burners. You know, you get a feeling for where you're going to put emphasis on which positions. A great example of this was Powdrell. I am dying to see him play safety, because I think he could bring in a lot on the defensive side in Zach Alley's system, but you don't know. Safety is not a position he plays now. That all being said, how many times do you see somebody and you're like, we have all this depth of talent at a certain position, and we need somebody to transition to a different position? That happens all the time. And you're right, buddy. My goodness, years ago we had who was the Mountaineer, played for the New Orleans Saints? Turnbull. He played as a
Turnbull,
defensive end. He didn't start there. He came here, I believe, as a tight end. Happens all the time. Look at Curtis Jones.
That's another good one. Curtis Jones was a linebacker. We put him in a fullback. So I don't know. Just thinking, I had some time to kind of think. Maybe DJ Epps. I know he returned a lot of kickoffs last year, but he didn't return punts, I don't think.
Can I throw something out there? Put us both on the spot. Would you rather see somebody as a receiver or a running back trying to return punts, or would you rather see someone who plays secondary go back and try to return punts?
I'm a big fan of cornerbacks doing it. I don't know why. Wide receivers, maybe like a slot or something. But if I was coaching, that's probably what I would do.
What about
again?
kicks?
Not all cornerbacks have sure hands. Kicks, I'm more of a you could use a receiver, but I don't know. I don't have anything to back it up. It's just what I
think you're making great sense. To me, the idea that you want somebody back on punts who's also a defender, because you never know when somebody's gonna fake a punt, and then you want somebody out there who's used to tackling.
Right, absolutely. That's my thought. That's exactly what it goes to, is the fact that you have someone back there. Plus, you're not running someone in. You know, you can maybe have that cornerback go back there, maybe a free safety or something. I don't know, but I'm just thinking along lines of maybe high school, not like college. College, they usually have enough athletic bodies to do that. You know, I'm trying to look up, guys, while we're talking, if Chams Dangy from Georgia State was returned anything. I don't see anything. So that's a fantastic question. That's why we love having this call-in show, because we get to kind of be put on the spot, look shit up, find out together what's going on. But yeah, Fiona Biscuit said Brad Masor can return kicks. Yes, I saw that too. Leo, or say hi to Leo. Let's say hi to folks in the chat, because you guys really make this show what it is. Last week we had like 80 people in the chat, and I'm like, I wish that was the call-in show. We have like 30 in now. So Fiona is saying Brad Masur. I said that already. Scrooge McDuck. DuckTales was such a great cartoon, underrated. Yes, I remember that fake kick that won the game for us, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, that was exactly at the Sugar Bowl 20 years ago. It was a little over 20 years ago, maybe 21. Boy, we're getting old. Worst case scenario for Patrick is saying Patrick SG7CM. Worst case scenario for the Mountaineers is 6-6. Best case is they run the table. I honestly think that 9-3 is possible. 10-2 is realistic for the. Yeah, we talked about that. We're going to talk about that here. Well, what a great segue. So, we lost number 1 high school punter to Syracuse. Oh, that sucks. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen. And guys, last year, I tried doing a show on the schedule way too early. And they didn't have any of the times posted. I was pretty bummed out. But we have the dates, but no times. And it looks, if you're a season ticket holder, you get 7 home games, Eric. I don't think this year I'm going to renew my season tickets. I went to one game.
That's heartbreaking.
Yeah, one game all last year. I gave 2 sets of tickets away. It just, with my son playing ball, the night before, and there was one day he played on a Saturday, it just makes it difficult. But this would be a great year to get tickets. So, with that, just want to let you know this show, the West Virginia Call-In Show, is brought to you, presented by FanDuel. Eric, I get an allowance, and I'll spend a little bit of that allowance on FanDuel, and it is a lot of fun. If you would have picked Indiana on FanDuel, put $10 down, you would have got like $600 beginning of the season if you bet $10. 2,000 would have got you.
That's a lot of fun for $10. You can't even get a Big Mac meal for $10.
No. If you bet $2,000, you would have got around, $200,000. So, if you just want to download a fun app, they have all kinds of interesting things there. So my buddy Bubba on the Steelers Dynasty podcast always does like a pick'em, and it makes watching games on Sunday a lot of fun. So basketball season is in full swing. So go on to FanDuel and check it out. And hey, if the West Virginia Mountaineers win the Big 12 in basketball, I think if you put $20 down, you win, I don't know, like a couple thousand. I forgot. I looked at it last week and I forgot, but it's pretty crazy. Anyways, guys, the show today is brought to you by FanDuel. So, Eric, before we get in this schedule, we had to pay the bills. Coastal Carolina Chancellors. That program, when I hear about it, I think, oh, the beach, right? But also, what comes to my mind is the fact that you can go to a Chancellors game and you buy your ticket, you get free hot dogs and whatnot. Did you hear that?
Well, it's the whatnot that surprises me. Hot dog's a pretty good deal, but they're going to throw in the whatnot? Heck yeah, I'm in.
Like drinks and popcorn or and stuff like that. So I don't know how that works. And if you guys know more about that would be great. Yes, Leo. Matt Sig is a safety, but he doesn't return anything. But yeah. So
that would be interesting. I mean, he wants to play the offensive side.
I think, yeah, give him an opportunity. That's why he came here. He wants to play a little bit of both. I think that first game is going to be a damn nice day to be in Morgantown. It's probably going to be 82 degrees, maybe sunny. I bet it's sunny and beautiful. Coastal Carolina is a team that West Virginia should easily beat. I give them a 95% chance of winning that game.
Boy, like Corso said, not so fast, my friend.
Okay.
The Chanticleers have had quite there's good teams. And a good team is somebody that they've got a good set of players. They're there for a specified amount of time, usually a season. and they might have the right coaching staff. So that's a team, and then you have a program, and that's where you have coaches that span a number of years. You got players that stick around that long, and that program they'll win multiple years. They'll field multiple teams, and then you've got a culture, and that culture spans not only the teams and the program, they are inherently the people who decide who will run the program. The Chanticleers are trying to build that down there. They're trying to become like, an App State, South Dakota State. That being said, we're going to beat them.
Yeah, I agree. The fact that they're just, they're going to be outclassed. It's going to be rough. But then again, we said that about Miami last year, so that's why they play ball. But, UT Martin is the week. So literally 3 out of 4 weeks you have home games, guys. Last year, a lot of the home games at the end of the year, which I think kind of suck because if it's cold, I'm staying home and watching it. I'm putting a log in the fireplace if it's like 45 degrees, 50 degrees, and I'm just going to sit in my basement, big TV, and watch it. Sorry. I love drinking some moonshine and eating pepperoni rolls in the parking lot, but, sitting on a cold piece of aluminum just isn't my thing. But I love watching the Mountaineers, though. UT Martin comes into Morgantown September 12th. Probably going to be another beautiful day. I think that's even more likely victory than the first one.
Oh, yeah. One thing you'll hear lots of people say, Shane, remember we were in the Big East and you always played Rutgers, and you would oftentimes you'd play Temple. Those days are gone. This is a game that's going to be special because you're going to get to see, hopefully you'll get to see the team do really, really well. They'll kind of work on, building confidence, and then they'll bring in players that you probably won't get to see, a whole lot of the rest of the year, kind of get a, little bit of an inkling into the future. This is going to be a great win, going to be a great day to be a Mountaineer.
Well, I agree 100%. Lost Lore is telling us we should be playing Pitt every year. Well, I'll give you your connection with Pitt September 19th because they're Pitt's old quarterback, Holstein. I think a Holstein cattle, dairy cows, I guess they are. Well, he's going to be the quarterback of the Virginia Cavaliers. So there's your tie to Pitt, Lost Lore. Yeah. I think Virginia is going to be the test. It'll be okay, let's see exactly what we have. Check the temperature and the pulse of the program after 2 warm-up games with Virginia Cavaliers. I think if they struggle against Virginia, I don't know how good Virginia is going to be. I think they have as much question marks on their program this year as we do with ours. So that'll be very interesting. I would say since it's a neutral field, I still think West Virginia has about a 65% chance of pulling this one off. Now, you go into ESPN, it doesn't give you a little breakdown on what the likelihood is yet, but we will talk about that when it gets closer to it. We're still, guys, combines are going to start here for the NFL, so we'll get to see a lot of college guys working out. Then we have, of course, spring ball. Talk about that. See what Richard has to say. So we have a lot of time before now next September, but it goes by fast. So, Eric, what are your thoughts about the Cavaliers?
Man, you did a great synopsis there. And the thing I want to emphasize that, Virginia has been picking things up, 10-win season last year. But I think the fact that we're going to be playing in a neutral site is going to be very big. What do we always say about West Virginia fans? How do we travel? Really well. I think that's actually going to help us. And I agree with you. I don't know that it's going to be an overwhelming, favor for the Mountaineers, but we owe Virginia badly. They embarrassed us pretty badly. I think the last 2 times we played them, we owe them. I hope that's and those were against Rich Rod teams. So let's see if Rich has any magic left in the tank like he did against Pitt this year. That's a win.
Yeah, so going into Big 12 play, West Virginia should have no losses. Knock on wood. Knock on wood. I don't know why we do that, but we do that. So Oklahoma State, they were dumpster fire last year. Don't be surprised if they get the ships right. They got nice little nice little guy as a coach from North Texas, which Neil Brown went down and replaced. So it was a little bit of a kind of 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon. Is that what they call it?
6 degrees of separation. I love it.
Yeah. So the Cowboys, they're coming into Morgantown. That makes me feel a little bit better. They're still struggling. They probably haven't found their identity. New coach. We got a guy who's been here before, but it's the second year. I give the nod to the Mountaineers. They win in Morgantown September 26th. I don't know what the percentage is, but I just have a feeling. Eric, your thoughts?
We're going to find out if we have any boo birds in the audience right now.
Oh, yeah.
I hate this. I hate it for me. I hate it for you. I hate it for the chat. Oklahoma State absolutely was in the toilet last year. I think they were a little unfair to their coach, but that's oil money. So
Yeah.
when they want to make changes, changes are made, and they got their changes. So now they've got a new head coach. I'm sure they're going to be very supportive of that new coach. If you have been paying attention to the portal, they have been supportive of that coach financially. Oklahoma State is making a big play. I just got a bad feeling about this, even though it's at home, and I have us with a loss here, but I hope that I'm wrong.
Really? Okay. Well, that. We'll have to see what happens. But Iowa State is next on the docket for good old Rich Rod and company. They have to go out to Jack Trice Stadium in Ames, Iowa. Tough place to play. Eric, if I remember correctly, wasn't Johnny Majors at Iowa State before he went to Pitt?
I really don't know, but I think that's right.
I think so. Anyways, that's the old head that used to coach. Had two times two different times he coached at Pitt, coached them to a national championship. That's why I brought that up, because we were talking about how Pitt sucks, and they do suck. Iowa State Cyclones. I don't think they're garbage. I think it's going to be a hell of a battle for the Mountaineers. I think this is the first loss for the Mountaineers.
You done with that?
I am. I've just put that to bed. I'm done.
Buddy, I hate to say it. I think that could be the case. And it sounds like you and I did a coin flip on these two games. Because I agree that, one of the things, the whole reason I went on that spiel that everybody fell asleep for, talking about teams versus programs versus culture, is that we're seeing a lot of change in the Big 12 in particular. And so the notion of, in particular with NIL and transfer portals, you're going to see a lot of teams pop up. They're going to be good for a real short time. And if they can't sustain that level of support, they're going to go away. And then you're going to have some programs that are going to stick around a little while. And then you're going to have programs. And Iowa State is another place. Iowa State and Oklahoma State had been trying to build a culture. I actually have us pulling out a win here. I know that they are a proven program, but without Matt Campbell, which I give a lot of credit to their success with Matt Campbell, I can't help but think it's going to be a factor. Although I will say Jimmy Rogers was their defensive coordinator, and so he's probably going to keep a lot of the old systems in place. But Matt Campbell used to be the kind of person the kind of coach you'd watch and do his thing, and they would make adjustments. They're going to be missing that.
Yeah, Iowa State has handed Iowa their teeth. I think 3 of the last 4 years. So they're a good program, and Iowa's a decent program. They've competed pretty well in the Big Ten. So that's they're my metric against other teams. But we got Jackson Johnson in the house. Eric says Alan Kinsel. We know who he is. Is that Alan? There's no way
Alan
we
Kim.
lose to the Oak. Yeah, Alan's saying there's no way we lose to Okie State at home.
Alan, I love it, man. I bring on the Boo Birds. I hope that's the case.
So we'll talk about Texas Tech, Scrooge McDuck. Hold your horses. The Wildcats come to Morgantown. Don't worry about the curse of the desert. Don't worry about anything other than the fact that I think the Mountaineers are going to get some feet under them. They're going to start feeling it. It's going to be a nice, cooler, crisp day, not 82. I'm feeling it around maybe 75, 77 degrees. Slightly, maybe a little overcast, a little crisp air. Might be a night game. That would be fantastic. A night game, October 10th against the Arizona Wildcats. Could you believe it? I think that's going to happen. Maybe on Fox Sports 1, maybe on ESPN. I don't know, but I think that's going to be a victory. Just feel it. I just feel it.
Shane, I love that feeling you got, that winning feeling, buddy, and I got it too. And here's why. If we come into that game, because you and I both said by this point we might have one loss,
Yeah.
and that's might, but that means we have 4 wins at least. If the Mountaineers have 4 wins by that time, if this game somehow is still an afternoon game,
Yeah,
like an early morning to afternoon, that's in our favor. These guys are going to be traveling east. That time zone effect is legit. I think that favors us. If it's a night games at in Morgantown, they are special, and we tend to win those more than we lose. I have us as a win with this too.
Yep, I think that's just a tough travel. It's a tough travel. Arizona hasn't been out here, and yeah, every year you have different players, but coaching staffs have like a battle rhythm, like a rhythm to them, and a lot of these guys usually coach and travel to the same places. I don't think that the staff has been out to flew into Pittsburgh or flew into Morgantown. So we'll see what happens there. Cincinnati Bearcats, man, they're another team that's just a big question mark. I was trying to do some research before the show, and they don't really have a great. They didn't have really that. There's no splash players in the transfer portal that they got like what.
Did we lose you, buddy?
Yeah, real quick. Yeah, so you just had a national champion win starting 6 guys that did not have a single star as a recruit. With that being said, I think Cincinnati falls short. It's a close game. It's a nail biter. October 17th, Mountaineers pull it out last second over the Bearcats.
I got nothing more to add. I completely agree. It's not going to be a cakewalk.
No.
Cincinnati has a history of punching above their weight class.
Yep.
But no, we're going to win that one.
All right. Now we get into some dirty stuff here. We got TCU, Texas Tech, Kansas, the Cougars, Utah. Oh. All right. So right now we have the Mountaineers sitting at what? 4-1? 5.
No, I think it's better than that. 6-1.
6-1. They're ranked. West Virginia's ranked 24th. They're going to be playing against a TCU team that's top 10. Okay? Right now, TCU's preseason probably number 20. Now, they got to go into Texas, Fort Worth, Texas, to play TCU. Eric, I think they take their another loss here. So they'll be 6-2. What are your thoughts?
Shane, how can you say that? I mean, you didn't even hesitate, buddy.
No
pride at all.
6-2.
Well, I can't argue with that. I was going to see if I can get you to stutter step.
No.
No, No backpedaling here. I hate to say it. Yeah, Sonny Dykes is a hell of a coach, and here's the reason that I think we're going to have an Achilles heel in this game. Dana Holgerson and Todd Graham are going to be on part of that staff, and as much as I can't stand
Yep.
those guys, they are good at what they do, and in particular, they're good at putting offensive schemes together. So yeah, I have us as regretfully, I have us with a loss there too.
And I said it earlier with Arizona. You have coaches that have the battle rhythm down. TCU's been coming to West Virginia for a number of years now. And even when they're supposed to lose, they come in here and beat us. I mean, they just have West Virginia's number. I hate it, but they do. I think West Virginia makes it through the off week without a loss. So October 31st, what a great Halloween. Go trick-or-treating, enjoy yourself, because the West Virginia Mountaineers are guaranteed a victory. No candy corn for your bucket, Eric. You're getting Kit Kats and Reese's Cups.
Full size?
No, just little shits. What do you fucking think this is?
All right, we got a budget. I get it. By the way, I'm going to throw something out here. I'm going to put a caveat. These predictions are early. I had to predict way too early.
Way too early.
I'm going to disagree with you. I think Oklahoma State is the program that has our number, and I think TCU is a team that we've actually beat at times when we shouldn't have beaten them. But we'll see.
True.
But I
we beat them. It's been the other. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So, but I do think that it's like two heavyweights. There are times like, man, if one of these guys lands a punch, the other's going down. I'm going to say that no, that's still going to be a loss though. But that brings us to Texas Tech.
Yeah, Texas Tech. So I have a hot take here. Lost lore. Let's see what he has. TT will roll us. No, not so fast. West Virginia pulls off a miraculous victory against the Texas Tech team that's top 5. And everybody in Morgantown is feeling it. Because even though they're going to be beating the freaking bus when they come back from the airport because they're going to be so excited. I think this is one that they can pull off. West Virginia has beaten Texas Tech. I know they have money, but you have to win with that money. And they lost a couple games last year they shouldn't have lost. And why can't West Virginia be the one to punch them in the mouth? So I'm saying West Virginia pulls off the upset 7-2 after the Saturday, November 7th game. Eric?
Shane, I can smell what you are cooking. And I mean, you laid out a lot of good stuff there. It's all wrong, but I loved it.
They're going to lose. I'm just hoping. Trying to be exciting here.
I love it, man. I'm sorry. I'm just giving you a hard time.
Never.
No, I love the idea that we are going to catch up to Texas Tech. But I don't think next year's the year, especially with us playing them down there. And I think that this year, the way this year ended up, that Texas Tech team was a good team, and they got stomped in their final game. I guarantee you they are remembering that, and they're going to make sure that they make it back next year. I don't see us beating them at home at their place next year, so I have this as a loss.
Yeah, I can see that because they get a lot of the players back. I'm just trying to build some momentum because
I love it, man.
These last couple games are tough.
Yeah, and that's always our schedule. The tail end of our schedule is always brutal.
Yeah, it's terrible. And then Kansas comes into Morgantown November 14th. I'll let you go first on that one, Eric. What are your thoughts?
Oh, I'm gonna get whooped this time. Which is good. I got it coming. I've been brutal to you this segment. Lance Leopold has been doing just brutal things to us. I'm going to keep using that word. He has had our number. Even when we had victory in hand, we somehow snatched it. They snatched it, and it's been brutal to watch. We owe them. It's in Morgantown. I think we win this one in significant fashion, impressive fashion at that. Yeah, that's all I got for you.
So you have the Mountaineers at that point at 6-3, right?
I do.
Okay. I think they pull that off too. So we're both on the same page. It's just that's a winnable game, guys. Could they lose? Hell yeah. It's a coin flip at this point. But I'm just, being off the glass half full type of Shane. Okay. Saturday, the 21st, the Cougs come to Morgantown. West Virginia seems to play well against Houston. Houston's supposed to be a lot better. I've read up a little bit. They've done better in the portal this year than last year. It's not going to be an easy game. But West Virginia could very easily be 7-3 going into the last game. So, Eric, what are your thoughts?
Man, I love this matchup. This is a matchup that I have circled already. I agree with you. There's a lot of hype around that program. I think they have figured out that they got to pour money into into their NIL to get better players. That being said, old Willie Fritz has done some things throughout his career.
He's a good coach.
He is. But and this may be my heart talking, not my head. I think that this is another game that I think Houston's going to be legit. I think we are going to not just want to beat them. I think we're going to want to punish them. And so, yeah, this is a win.
So you have West Virginia after this game 8-3.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah, we're on the same page. At Utah. It's a crazy place to play.
It is
28th, yeah.
So they've got a new coach, former defensive coordinator. It's Utah though, and they have tons of resources, and they don't mind throwing them at their football program because they are quite honestly the most outspoken fan base for their sports, and they cannot stand to lose. So next year, this is a game I don't have us winning, but I really hope I'm wrong.
Yeah, I agree. It's just traveling out there is tough. It's just gonna be they're gonna. I hate to finish the season with a loss, but West Virginia is gonna be bowl eligible, which will be great. Fiona Biscuit says she thinks it's gonna be a win, but 9-3 is nothing to sneeze at, guys. 9-3. Think about it. Last year's this team had 4 wins. You've basically flipped the win-loss if you go 9-3. And you're going to have a pretty good bowl. You're going to have a decent bowl. You're going to be sniffing the top 25. I would not not be upset with that at all. Eric, what are your thoughts with the if you had a 9-3 record?
Well, that you actually have a little bit better record than I do. I have us at 8-4.
8-4. Okay, 8-4. Well, okay, 9-3, 9-3 is the I would say the ceiling. 8-4 is realistic, but you still go to a damn good bowl game.
And I agree that there's a chance. I mean, because at this point of the game, is there any reason why we couldn't beat Texas Tech, TCU? Of course not. There's no reason that we can't. I mean, that's why we're going to play the game.
Yeah, surprise someone. I think Utah is one that's just going to be really difficult to win. That time of the year, traveling out there, you're going to have some injuries. Texas Tech might be winnable because you're coming off a bye week. Texas Tech does not have a bye week before that. That's why I said that's maybe a winnable game. Guys, this is it's January 22nd. If you're not In Western PA, it was -1. Saturday morning, it's going to be -5 here just north of Pittsburgh. It's colder than shit. And we're talking about football. It's just great. I mean, I can't believe it that we're talking about football and we're not looking for a coach. We're not saying, we got a new coach. What's going to happen? The recruits, the horses are in the barn. The barn door's locked. Now we just got to make hay and get ready for spring because, guys, it's going to be a wild ride. There's no reason. I'm going to ask you this, Eric. With IU winning, does that put more pressure on coaches like Rich Rod for programs that don't have a national championship? If the money's there and you got some talent, you should be able to coach them up and win some games. Does that put more pressure on them or less?
Man, that's a great question. And I think the answer is, yeah, it does. And especially with Rich, because we all remember Rich's reintroduction press conference. And Rich specifically said, you can win a national championship here at WVU.
And I didn't really wrap my head around it and think it was possible until I saw the Hoosiers win. Guys, that's about the same as you telling me if you're Marty McFly and you get in your DeLorean and you come back and I'm in that diner and you say, Shane,
Uh-oh, do we lose you again? McFly, hello. Nah, we lost him. But I'm going to steal Shane's segue and say that if somebody would have asked you prior to this season starting, do you think Indiana's going to win? Hey, but I'm sorry,
So I have business internet.
Good.
I don't know what happened here, but bear with me. I'm gonna put Eric back in.
I'm here.
If you guys can hear me, you're Marty McFly. You get in your DeLorean, you come back and tell Shane Temple's going to win in 2030. I would tell you have horse poop between your ears. That's the same as if you told me, it'd be the same reaction if you told me in 2026 the Indiana Hoosiers would win. So I'm just saying, guys, it's kind of weird. But here comes Eric. Sorry about that, Eric. We lost you.
Oh, buddy, I never left.
No, I'm not using dial-up. I actually have like great internet, but today's been really strange. Like I have 900 megabytes per second, like 950, something like that. I don't know what's going on.
All your megabytes have frostbite. That's okay.
They have frostbite because it's cold as shit. But no, Eric, if I were to tell you that Temple would win a national championship in 2030, you'd tell me I'm crazy. If I'd have told you a few years ago that Indiana was going to win a national championship, you would have the same reaction to if I would say Temple or Eastern, Washington or something. It's just a crazy day. But we had a great group of people participating. Now, we always close the show with basketball. I have Paramount Plus, HBO, all that stuff, Hulu, Netflix, Prime, Optimus Prime, Prime Energy Drinks. No, I don't have Prime Energy Drinks, but I don't have Peacock. So I did not watch the Mountaineers play. I did see on the phone, you see them, oh, they have the ball. Oh, I made a basket. That's how I had my interaction with the basketball game. But the Mountaineers won. Looks like they are, I would say, top of the middle tier of the Big 12. Would you say that's an accurate assessment?
I think we're ranked 5th. Yeah.
There we go. So that's right where we're at. Do you think West Virginia, Eric, every week I ask you the same question, is West Virginia a bubble team? Or are they in a tournament?
We're a bubble team still. But we can change that. We have tons of opportunity to change that. If we
Yeah.
can sneak an extra victory too out of the Big 12 conference play, we will cement our position.
And the game coming up, Eric, if I'm not mistaken, is number 1 Arizona. And I thought, oh my God, Arizona's number 1. Houston was number 7, and they beat the crap out of West Virginia. Not so fast. Arizona played Arizona State. The difference was 6 points. It was competitive until the end. I think West Virginia can hang around with Arizona. I don't know why Houston is ranked below Arizona, because I think Houston is the best team in the Big 12.
You make a good point.
So we'll see. We'll see how good the Wildcats are this weekend when we play them. Eric was under the weather. He looks a lot better. I hope he feels as good as he looks, because he looks like $1 million. Time for your glamour shot. Anyways, guys, this is the West Virginia Call-In Show presented by FanDuel, and we are here every Thursday at 8 and every Monday at 9. So, guys, hopefully you got your West Virginia fix, because I did. This is the show where we are not journalists. We are two fans that, I used to live in Morgantown. Eric currently lives in Morgantown. He has a pulse of what's happening. He's an alum. I'm an alum. We are fans. We've been fans for years. We're not going to tell you how long, but we really are blessed to have you join us, spend some time with us. Eric, any final thoughts before we go?
As always, thanks to FanDuel for giving two goofballs like us a chance to do this. Thanks so much to the chat community, because that, quite honestly, again, two guys who just like talking football, getting together with a bunch of other folks who like talking football. It's a great time. Shane, thank you too, buddy.
Hey, guys, have a good night. And as always, we're going to let you go with the waving flag of the great state of West Virginia, baby.